Hello everyone. So in this session we will understand the data pipeline part 2 for the dynamic tables. So before we get started, let's see what we have done earlier. So in our previous session, what we did, we created a raw applicant staging table and the job details table, and we have inserted some data. After that, we created a dynamic table candidates and the candidates shortlisted with the lag as downstream. And then we refreshed the tables manually and validated the data in the dynamic tables. After that, what we did is we understood how the automatic refresh works in case of the dynamic table. And we also observed the graphs, how the dynamic table graphs are created by the Snowflake. So in this session, let's see what we will be covering. And this is the summary of the session. So what we will do, we will see how the dynamic table behaves if there is a runtime error in the query. We will create one more dynamic table and see how pipeline looks like and how it works. We will also see some of the limitation, like what values you can put in the target lag and how the graph actually changes. So let's go back to the demo and then let's get started. So let's go to our demo, and what I am doing here, I am just cleaning the setup data, the test data which we have created last time, and I am just inserting only 2 rows here for now. And let's observe what test or sample data what we have. So this is the test data we have. We have 2 records. One record is for James, another is for Jessica. And then let's see in job details, we have not done any changes. We have only 5 records here. So let's see. I have explained like what we have covered, and I have set up some of the data here. But before we move forward, I wanted to show you the graph which we have created last time. So I'm going to the data, then I go to database. Under the database, I go to the schema. Under the schema, I click on the dynamic table, and then I click here. So and then I go to the graph. So if you see the graph here, this graph, we have seen it the last time, and we have raw applicant staging table, which is our test table, job details, and then these two tables, the data is going to the dynamic table. And if you see a small sign on this table sign, this shows that this is a dynamic table. And then we have the candidate shortlisted table. So this is the current graph what we have. Another thing to note here, that you don't see any target underscore lag mentioned here. Here also you don't see any target underscore lag. It means the value is downstream. So let's go back and move on further. So let's go back to our queries. So what I'm trying to do here, I will show that how the dynamic table behaves if there is any error in the query. So as you all know, if there is a syntax error in the query, then the dynamic table you will not be able to create. So for example, instead of this comma, I put like say some hyphen dot. So this query has a syntax error, and if I try to create a dynamic table, it will give you an error. So you cannot even create a dynamic table if the query has a syntax error, and that we already know. But let's see what happens like if there is a runtime error. So what I will do, I will introduce a runtime error. This is called, I am adding one more column, which is like 2 divided by 1 minus 1. So at the time of run or at the time of execution, this particular expression will resolve into like divide by 0. But it will allow us to create the table, because this is not a syntax error. This will come as a runtime error when the query get executed. So let me create this table. So our dynamic table got created successfully, and sometimes we might not even aware that there are certain runtime errors. So one of the example is this. And now what I will do, I will try to refresh my dynamic table. And when I'm refreshing a dynamic table, the Snowflake is providing this particular message and saying fail to refresh dynamic table with refresh trigger manual, and target table fail to refresh division by 0. So what Snowflake is actually capturing any runtime error available, and it will not let you create this. So what we can do is like, let's remove the error and then recreate it. So I'm going to recreate it now. So dynamic table is recreated. I am refreshing it. Now the refresh is getting successful. Now what I'm doing, I'm refreshing the another table, candidates underscore shortlisted, that is also dependent on it, just to keep the data in the sync. So I refresh this and let's see what is the data we have. So we have two records in the candidates. One is here as shortlisted and one is as staged. So in the shortlisted we should get one row. So we have the one row here. Let's move on further, and what we will do here, we will create another table and then we will see how things works. So if you, this is the command where I'm creating the candidates underscore stage table, where I am putting the target lag as downstream. So let me create this, create or replace dynamic table, candidates underscore stage, target lag is downstream. I am choosing a warehouse and it's a simple query on a dynamic table candidates where status equal to staged. So let me create this. And what I am doing here, I am just refreshing it. So since I have refreshed it, so now I have two rows here in this particular table, and one was staged and one was shortlisted. So actually these two rows will get divided into this table, and another one will come to this table. So let's see it. So in the staged, I have one row. Here I have one row, the status is staged, and in the shortlisted I have one row. So this is our setup data. So now let's go back and see the graph, since we have created one more dynamic table, how the graph looks like, and we all understand that the lag is actually downstream. So let's go back and see our data. We'll go to training, we'll go to demo schema, we'll go to dynamic tables, and then we click here, then we go to the graph, and then we maximize it and check it how it looks. So, and then we have to like refresh it. So once we refresh, you see here that on a candidates dynamic table, we have candidates shortlisted and candidates staged, and it doesn't show any target lag. It means all the three dynamic tables have the target lag as downstream. So let's understand what are the values we can put on the target lag and what are its limitations. So let's go back here in our dynamic table and then we will try. So we all know that as of now all the three things are downstream. So let's try to change. So what I'm doing for the candidates, I'm putting it as 15 minutes. Like I want my candidates table to be refreshed every 15 minutes, and I want my candidate shortlisted to be refreshed at 5 minutes. And now you see the error that it is not possible because candidate shortlisted table comes after candidates, and if you are refreshing this every 15 minutes, you cannot refresh this as 5 minutes. So Snowflake is actually not allowing you to put these numbers which are less than this candidates table, or you can say its dependencies. Candidates is the dependency of this. So what we can do, we can put the target lag which is greater than or equal to 15 minutes. So let's do this. So what I'm doing here, for the shortlisted I'm putting as 18 minutes, for the staged I'm putting as 20 minutes, and then I will go back and see the graph how it looks. So I'm going back again here in the data, training, demo, dynamic tables, candidates, graph, and I refresh it, and then I'll maximize it and see. So what I did, target lag for the candidates is 15 minutes, candidate shortlist is 18 minutes, and candidates stage is 20 minutes. So this is how my lags are. But let's see if one of these is a stream or the downstream, and if I give some numbers here, how the Snowflake is automatically reflecting the target lag. So let's go to the worksheet here and then try some other different numbers here. So we have tried this. So now let's try this one where we will keep the candidates target lag as downstream, but we will give this as 18 and 20 minutes. So let me change this. So let's go back to the candidates table and observe its target lag. Earlier we have seen that it was 15 minutes, And this time we have set it up as downstream, but other two tables as candidates shortlisted and candidates staged has 18 minutes and 20 minutes. And let's see what effect it has brought on the candidates. So let's go back here, go back to the data, go over to training, demo, dynamic table, click on any dynamic table. Again, you put a graph, refresh it, and make it a little bigger so that we can see it. So if you see here it is 18 minutes, here it is 20 minutes. And on the candidates, I know we have defined target lag as downstream, but the Snowflake is taking the minimum number and putting it here. So that's how Snowflake manages the dependencies or the target lag in case you're not sure for the upstream tables that what target lag you should give. You can just give the target lag as downstream, and then Snowflake manages this on the dependencies. So let's go back and see some more. So we have seen this part, like how it is maintaining. And in this case also, if we do here like downstream and 1 minute, so what I'm planning to do here, I will just do it as downstream, and shortlisted and staged I will make it as 1 minute, and then we will insert some data and see the demo. So as of now, it is downstream 1 minute and 1 minute. And if you will go back and observe the target lag for candidates, it will be 1 minute. So I'm just making sure that everything is resumed here. And now let's observe the data, what we have here. We have 2 records in the candidates. We have 1 record in the shortlisted. We have 1 record in the staged. Now I am planning to put 3 more records in the raw applicant staging. And what I will do, I will just observe the time. So I will observe the time. So time is like say 2:18. So I'll just put it here. And we will come back after a minute and then check the output. So let's see. I think 1 minute has passed, and let's see what are the results. So this is almost 1.5 minutes is over. So I'll just put this time here, and then let me run the candidates table. We have the candidates table as 5 records now. 2 we inserted earlier, then 3 later, and let's see how many we have in the shortlisted. So in the shortlisted we have 2, and in the staged we have around 3 records. So that's how the pipeline is working. We have 2 dynamic tables on 1 dynamic table, and that's how the graph also shows. So this is how you can actually suspend it so that you don't incur any cost here. So I'm just suspending it, and then I'm just doing some of the cleanups which I have created for the data pipeline. So this is all about the data pipeline for the dynamic table. And before we go, I just wanted to ask you guys, thank you for watching, and please subscribe, like, and share, and let me know if you have any questions and comments. Thank you for watching.